All right, on to some housing numbers here in the United States. The numbers are out for new home sales in May, and they're not good. National sales of new homes fell in May for the fourth time in the past 5 months, and this follows a trend where buyers and sellers are seeing the biggest housing slump in 16 years. But in Philadelphia, it's not so bad. So to break it all down for us is Dave Friedman, a Coldwell banker preferred. He is here with us this morning. Good morning to you, David.
Good morning.
Okay, I think people get scared when they hear these media reports, and we have a job in the media to try to bring these numbers to people, but we have to do it in a very genuine way. We've heard from experts who say this is one of the best buyers markets that we have seen in like 15 years. So should people be scared about these numbers?
I don't think they should be scared at all. What we're seeing is a little bit of crisis of confidence when it comes to new home construction. And I think that results from the fact that typically when you're buying a new home, you're not settling for 6 to 18 months after that. And so people are a little unsure where interest rates are going and where exactly the housing market's going. But what's interesting is that when we look at existing home sales for May, the National Association of Realtors came out with numbers that said in the Northeast region they actually went up by 5.6%. So I think the buyers are seeing that the market is actually pretty good for them and moving forward with that information.
Yeah, we have these May numbers up on the screen. So new housing sales dropped by 1.6% over last year, down about 11% in the Northeast. But I think people get scared when they see these numbers. But put them in context for us, because as far as I understand it, these numbers are down, but they're down from having last year been up and the year before from having been up, right?
Exactly. I mean, what we are looking at is the same as the stock market adjustment. We're just seeing a little bit of housing market adjustment. It's not that someone should be scared that they're going to be losing, 10, 20, 30% of the value of their house. As inflation keeps to rise, the housing market's really just slowing down a little bit to adjust for that rise, and everything's going to equal out probably within about 12 to 18 months.
Now, one of the best markets for people to buy a house, but it's a little bit difficult for people to sell a house right now. So what can people do to help sell their house? You drive around Philadelphia, a lot of houses on the market.
There are a lot of houses on the market. I think the most important thing that someone can do is price their house well. And what that means is not trying to go 10, 15% above what their neighbor sold their house for a year ago, but really look at the market and say, you know what, it's fairly static and we need to price it around the same point. Outside of that, though, a great idea is staging. Curb appeal is always a great way to get a home sold. And then once somebody enters the home, they see that they can live in it, it's comfortable, it's warm, it's inviting. So really spending some time setting up the home and making sure that the prospective buyers are going to have a great feel when they walk in is probably the best way to get a home sold.
Yeah, getting rid of that clutter. All right, David Friedman, a Coldwell banker preferred. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Thank you very much.
You know, one of the best things you can say about home sales, too, is that, when people say, oh, my house is priced to sell, and it's been on the market for 7 months, it's not priced to sell if it hasn't sold.
Right, and I think people just want to push it because they obviously want to make more money.
Right.
And you think, gosh, if I could just get an extra $10,000 or $20,000, but then your house sits. So,
it
you
sits,
really have
and then
to weigh
that $10,000 you're paying in a mortgage for a year because you decided to jack up the price.
Right.
So big issues, but a lot of great information there from David.